Yes, I am reviewing this game. Hello everyone, Al Gelger the SideQuest Gamer here, and if you're into retro gaming, you've probably never even heard of this game either. But this game was requested by my friend Justin Teeter during a Facebook conversation, and since he's one of my best friends, I cannot say no to him. Plus, I wanted to review this game for another reason. We all watch YouTube for a reason. A lot of us like to watch multi-part Let's Plays, others like watching gamers find good deals on games, but then there's people like me who like to watch YouTube for the reviews. I do like to watch the occasional multi-part Let's Plays, but really, I only watch Fetch Games, Game James, and Game Mavericks since they upload frequently, and a few others that upload occasionally. I do like to watch the occasional Lucagen or Game Grumps, but I don't know them personally, so it's not like the hanging out experience like I would get from people I do know to a certain degree, whether it be in person or through social media. But I like to watch game reviews on YouTube mainly because it brings out the best of each reviewer, as well as 10 to 30 minutes of all you need to know about a game. And I mostly watch the underrated YouTube reviewers that actually upload consistently instead of waiting 2 months to upload something. For example, Quantium, PK's Retro Reviews, Michael B. the Game Genie, The Wii Viewer, Joe Goes Retro, Exo Paradigm Gamer, Hadox, and especially the Retro Replay. The Retro Replay used to do all sorts of reviews of retro games that you've never even heard of. One of these was Ballz 3D, and he warned us not to play the game, and even gave it the lowest score possible. Now, this isn't some over-exaggerated character he portrays like James Rolfe's angry video game nerd or Doug Walker's nostalgia critic. No, he reviews these games as himself, and whether it be popular or unpopular opinion, he usually gives a good analysis on whether if a game's worth buying, hold off for a sale, or not worth buying at all. But I looked at the game footage and various long plays on it on YouTube and thought that it couldn't possibly be that bad. Right? Well, it's not the worst game of all time, but it is extremely flawed. Here's why. I've always liked fighting games, with my favorite fighting series being Street Fighter, but fighting games weren't always something I could buy unless I knew I was in for a good time. But if it was like more of the same kind of a sequel, I wouldn't buy it. Even if it was my favorite series, like I still haven't got Street Fighter 4. But the best part to me with fighting games was always the multiplayer. To this day, Mortal Kombat 9 is my favorite Mortal Kombat, but since Justin has it, and we play it when I'm at his house, I really have no need to buy the game for myself, because I'm not into fighting games for the single player. I mean, they're a lot better with a friend, let's face it. But although I do own a copy of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I am saving up to buy a used copy of Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the PS1 since I love Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the Super Nintendo so much. And then there's fighting games that try to outdo Street Fighter with its own little innovations or whatever, and then fall flat on its face. And Ballz 3D is one of them. Let's see who published this masterpiece. Oh, Accolade. Aw, jeez. We know the games they publish are masterpieces, right? No? Thought so. Ballz 3D, or 3D Ballz, or just Ballz 3D, The Battle of the Balls, whatever you call it, was developed by PF Magic, who've later developed the Pets, Dogs, and Cats games for the PC, where, like Ballz, the pets were also in the spherical style that they are known for. Yeah, it doesn't look too good in retrospect, but they did sell millions of copies worldwide, and so the Pets, Cats, and Dogs games in the 90s must have had some lasting appeal, unlike Ballz 3D. Ballz 3D, The Battle of the Balls, was PF Magic's first game, and it was released for the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and Panasonic 3DO. The one I'm playing right now for the review is the Super Nintendo version, although the Genesis version is really not that much different. However, it is said that the 3DO version is the best version to own, but that's like being the best looking fossilized dinosaur dropping in the museum. So, congratulations? The most important element of a fighting game are the controls, and unfortunately that's the major thing that PF Magic messed up on for Ballz 3D. You see, there's a punch button, a jump button, and a kick button, but that's it. There is no block button, which could make your defensive strategy futile for this game. You can pull off combos, but due to the Virtua Fighter-esque camera, it'll be hard to move parallel to your opponent, while the computer-controlled opponent knows how to work with it, putting you at a disadvantage. Because of the rotating fighting controls, if you press down, you don't duck, but instead move left or right in the 3D plane that they put in for some reason. I guess just to save the player, look guys, 3D! Now this is one of the aspects of the gaming industry that really annoys me, when a developer and publisher favors innovation over functionality. Why couldn't they have the characters in 3D just to show off the 3D innovation, but have the camera fixed in a 2D angle, kind of like in Mortal Kombat 9? Wouldn't that be easier and cheaper to produce? It's not like I care so much to see the one-colored 3D plane. The only way to tell what setting the arena is supposed to take place in is by looking at the background image. For example, when fighting the rhino, all you see are the trees of the savanna biome, making you feel like you're in Africa. Kind of. But that's probably the only thing you can identify in this game, because as interesting as the spherical design of the characters are, where they're made of spears, I still can't tell what the characters are supposed to resemble. The clown and rhino are pretty obvious, but I didn't know this guy was a caveman until he beat me with a giant bone. Balls? A bone? It's like the game is sending me subliminal messages. Let's see. It's telling you to play with your dog, because dogs like to play fetch, and dogs really like rubber balls, and they like to dig up bones. So the game is telling you to stop playing it and go play with your dog right now. But unfortunately for the audience, that's going to have to wait. Time for a montage of the struggle ahead. Oh no, this is only the first boss. The ostrich is where the limited fun with Ballz 3D ends. What little fun you did have in the first place, and this is where many of the issues of the game shows up even more than it did previously. Another major thing you have to have programmed into a fighting game is precise hit detection, otherwise you're put in an unfair disadvantage. This game has poor hit detection where if your punch makes contact with the enemy, it may or may not register, but sometimes if your punch is slightly distant, it registers as a hit, and the ostrich is programmed in such a way where it recovers health while having powerful, undodgeable moves, making him nearly unbeatable. As for this game and the other aspects, the music of the game does kind of get you in the mood for fighting, but the same tune plays in each round, except for boss rounds, I think. But it's kind of the fighting game music you would expect from any fighting game. Nothing bad, just nothing too special to have its own identity. And the graphical art style of the game doesn't look that good, to be honest. This game came out in 1995, the same year as the masterfully crafted Donkey Kong Country 2 and the highly underrated Vector Man. Since those games successfully experimented with 3D visuals, there's no excuse for Ballz 3D's graphics. The spherical characters are all composed of solid colors instead of having them blend together like in Donkey Kong Country, or having a metallic luster like in Vector Man. And the 3D plane arena just looks plain. It's so barren and uninteresting. At least Virtua Fighter's arena tried to be interesting with level themes. This game has so many problems that even the innovation-craving magazines at the time that would give anything new and good-looking a high score, even they gave Ballz 3D mediocre to bad scores. Overall, I would give this game a 32 out of 100. This game was so innovational for its own good and the developers and publishers put way too much faith in innovation rather than substance. And the sad thing is, it really could have been a good game if it didn't rely too heavily on 3D innovation, as well as fix the hit detection and overpowered enemy bosses, and possibly fix the camera in a 2D angle until they mastered the rotating camera controls like in Virtua Fighter 2. But no, instead we got this. It's not the worst game ever, but does leave so much to be desired, and I sincerely apologize to those who bought this game for $50 upon initial release. So this game is no Street Fighter or Guilty Gear. Heck, it's not even Clay Fighter. So if you're going to try to collect all Sega Genesis, 3DO, or Super Nintendo games, don't even pick this up. Your proud collection doesn't deserve to acknowledge this game's existence. You want Ballz 3D to sit in your shelf proudly with your Sonic the Hedgehog 3 or your Super Mario World? Well, at least PF Magic managed to move on to better things, like the Pets, Cats, and Dogs franchise, which I heard were really good for its time. But it's a shame that they disappeared off the face of the earth without even as much as a Wikipedia explanation. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and hey, I'm the first reviewer who reviewed this game on the internet who didn't make one single reference to the male reproductive system. Anyways, thank you so much for watching me play this rather flawed game. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay awesome.
Hey, hey, let's go, Kinkasuru. Taisetsu na mono, protect my Ballz. Boku ga warui, so let's fighting. Let's fighting, wow.